Hey everybody, welcome back to Thistle Hill Farmstead. Today, this is our, I believe, fourth video in our barn build video series. As you can see behind me, we now have the pad complete for our horse barn build. And this video is going to be some more footage of the construction of this pad, some drone footage of that. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can keep up to date with all of our barn build videos. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out a lot. Okay, so this is some drone footage of Knowles Construction, who is doing the grading for our barn foundation or barn pad. He's just now starting the grading. As you can see, he's really at this point just trying to remove the topsoil and get down to the Georgia clay so that we don't have any organic material on the top where the barn is actually going to be the foundation. So he's pushing his topsoil off right now and piling it up down there at the bottom, and that's what you see, those piles to the left hand side of the screen. And then to the far left on the other side of the fence, that's where we're grading off for our riding arena. And that's going to serve a dual purpose. As I mentioned before, we're pulling some red clay from that arena area and we're going to bring it up to this upper area where the barn pad is going to be to do some filling. There's about a 3 or 4 foot drop from the top of the screen as you see it now back toward where that little red truck and that gray shed is, down to the fence. There's about a 4 foot drop that we've got to fill in to level this up. So that's going to be his goal, is to strip this topsoil off, get this area down to the red dirt, and then we're going to start bringing up some fill dirt from the lower part of the property. Here I'm just pulling up a little bit with the drone and coming over to give you a little bit of a different view. Now again, this is looking downhill, and you can see maybe the slope from now the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen. Here's a different view showing that same grading going on. You see that pile of dirt that he's on now? That's all topsoil there. And we did wind up having quite a bit of topsoil on the property because this used to be a dairy farm and these were cow pastures. And they had quite a bit of topsoil that we had to get through to get down to the red dirt. Now we'll use this topsoil other places for filling in and backfilling when we're through with the grading. Here's another fly-in drone shot at a little bit of a further distance out so you can see the house and the proximity of the barn to the house and the riding arena there. And it gives you a little bit of scale and perspective on how big things are going to be. Here are some shots of them loading up some of the red dirt from down in the lower part of the pasture where we're leveling off for the riding arena into the dump truck to bring up to the upper part for backfill. Now the barn is going to be 48 feet by 38 feet under the main part of the barn. We're going to have 4 12-foot stalls, and then the center aisle is going to be 14 feet wide. So the 4 12-foot stalls along the length gives us the 48 feet, and then the 14-foot center aisle with a 12-foot stall or area on each side gives us 38 feet wide. And then we're going to have some shed lean-tos off of each side of the barn. Okay, here you see him hopping out of the front end loader and going over to the dump truck to bring this load of field dirt up to the upper part of the property where we are going to be putting the barn pad. And we're really lucky that we have this property in the lower part of the field here that we wanted to create the riding arena anyway, so that gave us an opportunity to pull that dirt that was needed for backfilling and take it up to the top where it can be used for the barn pad. As it comes up the hill with the truck, you can probably already see that there are several layers or lifts, as they call them, of that red dirt that's already been put down, and he's packing it down with the skid steer. And you'll notice that he has a bucket full of dirt to add a little weight to the skid steer as he's driving back and forth on this to pack it down. We're pretty lucky that the fill dirt that we're getting from the bottom part of the pasture is a good moisture content, or has a good moisture content. It's not too dry and it's not too wet, so it's packing really well. And you see him driving the dump truck back and forth a couple of times on it also to pack it down. So we're not using any kind of vibratory packer or sheep's foot packer to pack this down. We're just using the skid steer, and again, like you can see, he's driving over it with the dump truck a little bit, and that'll be just fine for the barn. If this was a house or something else, you may want to pack it a little better with some kind of mechanical packer, but for the barn, this will be just fine. And you can see as he's driving back and forth on it with that fully loaded dump truck, it's barely sinking in at all. So it's being packed really well with the skid steer, and it's good that he's driving the truck over it just to get a feel of how well it is packed and if there's any sinkage of the truck, and there's not. So it's they're doing a really good job. Here's another flyover so you can get a perspective of the amount of dirt he's having to move. And you can also see down at the riding arena there to the left-hand side, all of that dirt he had to push up there to get down to the red dirt. I think he said he had to go down maybe 1.5 to 2 feet to get down to the red dirt. So that's quite a bit of topsoil that we have, and that's good. We'll use that as we backfill around everything so that we can plant some grass and get some grass to grow. Here we can see where he is actually spreading out that fill dirt that was dumped out of the dump truck with the skid steer. And then once he gets it kind of spread out into lifts, then he'll drive back over it with that skid steer and make sure it's packed in good. And it may be difficult to see, but there are pins on the corner with height markers on them, so he has an idea of where he needs to put the dirt and how far up he needs to come with the dirt. Here's another shot of him bringing some dirt up from that lower part. I'll do a little fast forward on this. And a little fast forward footage of him spreading this fill dirt out with the skid steer. Some footage of him packing that in after he spread it out. So he's going to go back and forth on this quite a bit just to pack it in nicely. This is a couple of days later where they have gotten everything leveled off. They've taken that topsoil and filled in around the pad. And actually, you see, I had them use that topsoil and fill in a couple of low spots we had in the yard also, because remember, this used to be a cow pasture, so it was pretty rough at places. So I took that opportunity to use that extra topsoil, fill in some divots, some rough places, and make it look a little better. But you can see here the size of the pad. Obviously in red because that's the clay that they packed in there, and then around it is backfilled with that nice topsoil that we had. And you see him down on the lower part now starting to work on the arena area, and I'll have a different video posting some footage of that arena build outside of this barn build footage. Here I'm pulling back with the drone to show you the view from the opposite side, kind of looking back toward the house. And again, you can see the pad there for the barn now, and the relationship it will be to the house and the garage and the rest of the property. And then down on the right will be the riding arena. And one final view, I'll do a freeze frame here and try to put some dimensions on here so that you can see the size of the pad. So this is a little model that I did in SketchUp Web. It's a free online web kind of sketching and drafting tool. So what I did was brought the image of the site into SketchUp and kind of superimposed it underneath the frame of the barn here. So you can kind of see what the barn is going to look like and how it's going to look on the property. Now this center aisle here is 14 feet center to center on these posts here, or will be. And then on either side of that, we're going to have 12-foot stalls. So you can see this one's 12 foot. And then we're going to have a 12-foot lean-to coming off of that. And I'm not quite sure why that's measuring 12 1/4, but it will be 12 foot. And then so overall, the overall width will be about, I guess, 62 feet. So here you can see the other two stalls. Now these will be, on the other side, we're going to have a tack room and a little office area, and then another 12-foot lean-to for the tractors on those sides. And then if I spin this around a little bit, You can see from the side, we're going to have 4 12-foot stalls, which will make this 48 feet long on the barn.
Okay, that's it for this video. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this video series on our barn build. And as I said before, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. That way everybody else can see the videos too. The YouTube algorithms will drive people to the channel. So again, thanks a bunch, and we'll see you next time on Thistle Hill Farmstead.